Good morning. It's Dayna Camp here at Dayna's Grace Notes. And pardon my appearance, but you know, if you've seen my videos before, when I've got an inspiration or a thought, I do not run and get my shower and put on my makeup. I just get the camera ready and jump in front of it. So today I want to share with you another Dayna's Grace Notes about lessons from the mayonnaise jar. You may have heard this story before, but I read it again this morning on Facebook and I thought, this is something definitely worth sharing. So what I'm going to do is read it from the screen. So here we go. The mayonnaise jar. When things in your life seem almost too much to handle, when 24 hours in a day is not enough, remember the mayonnaise jar and 2 cups of coffee. A professor stood before his philosophy class and had some items in front of him. When the class began, wordlessly, he picked up a very large and empty mayonnaise jar and filled it with golf balls. And then he asked the students if the jar was full, and they agreed that it was. The professor then picked up a box of pebbles and poured it into the jar. He shook the jar lightly. The pebbles rolled into the open areas between the golf balls. He then asked the students again if the jar was full. They agreed it was. The professor next picked up a box of sand and poured it into the jar. Of course, the sand filled up everything else. He asked once more if the jar was full. The students responded with a unanimous yes. The professor then produced 2 cups of coffee from under the table and poured the entire contents into the jar, effectively filling the empty space between the sand. The students laughed. "Now," said the professor, as the laughter subsided, "I want you to recognize that this jar represents your life. The golf balls are the important things: God, family, children, health, friends, and favorite passions. Things that if everything else was lost and only they remained in your life would still be full. The pebbles are the things that matter, like your job, house, and car. The sand is everything else, the small stuff," he said. "If you put the sand into the jar first," he continued, "there is no room for the pebbles or the golf balls. The same goes for life. If you spend all of your time and energy on the small stuff, you will never have room for the things that are important to you," he told them. "So, pay attention to the things that are critical to your happiness: loving God, worship with your family, play with your children, take your spouse out to dinner, spend time with your good friends. There will always be time to clean the house and fix the dripping tap. Take care of the golf balls first, the things that really matter. Set your priorities. The rest is just sand." So, one of the students raised her hand and inquired what the coffee represented. The professor smiled and said, "I'm glad you asked. It just goes to show you that no matter how full your life may seem, there's always room for a couple of cups of coffee with a friend." Well, I hope you liked that story about the mayonnaise jar. And if you would like to get other Dayna's Grace Notes in your inbox a few times a week, subscribe. The link is below the video. You can subscribe to Dayna's Grace Notes and receive them a few times a week by email. And if you want to see what I'm up to in life and business, just check out my blog. Go visit me at daynasgracenotes.com, and I'll see you on another Dayna's Grace Notes. Have a great day. Bye-bye.